Hi everybody, it's Numerologist Michelle Buchanan with your numerology forecast for June 2020. So let me jump right in and give you a heads up of what's going on. So the first thing we want to look at is we want to remember that the background for the whole entire year, regardless of what month we're in, is a number 4, and that's because the year itself, 2020, when we add all those numbers together, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, it gives us a base number 4. So that means the entire year is what is called a 4 universal year number, and that influences everybody in the world, okay? And that's a number 4, and the number 4 is about building a stronger, solid foundation based on credibility, authenticity, truth. So what's happening is we're breaking down the old ways. We're breaking down an old system that is based on a fault line. So whatever is based on a fault line is up for renewal. All right. So what's happening, and this won't just be for this year, this will be a long process for, that will extend beyond just this year, 2020. But it's almost like this year is where things are really starting to gather momentum in regards to creating this new foundation. So what we're seeing is we're seeing a breakdown of the old ways. We're seeing some of the untruths, some of the manipulation, some of the unrest, the power plays, the cracks in the system coming to the surface. The deception, the lies, the control, all the craziness is coming to the surface. It has to happen. It's almost like we're pulling the scab off the wound, and it's sort of like we kind of have to do this. It's just a natural evolution of the planet and humanity as itself, as it has to happen. It's a pretty scary thing to witness. I suggest that you pay attention to what's going on around you to become, to sort of have some fair idea of what's going on around you, but don't buy into everything you see. You know that the mainstream media isn't always telling exactly what is going on, and it's, where the source of the news is coming from. If it freaks you out a lot, don't watch too much of it, okay? That's the first thing you need to know, is you are in control of your thoughts. You are in control of your own little corner of the world. And if you are afraid and in fear of what's happening around you, I do suggest that you take a lot of time to be aware that you create your own reality in the world that you're in. So yes, these things are real. They are happening outside of you, around you in your neighborhood and in the world. But at the same time, you have the ability to create how you perceive what's happening around you in the world. You have the ability to create your own little safety cocoon and your own little, environment at home and within your own thoughts. And it's a matter of, you do have the power to attract into your world how you would prefer things to be. Now, in saying that, if you, for example, were having a look at what's going on with the uprising and the rebelling against the, what's happening with the racism and the abuse of power in America and what's going on with what's happening all there and the uprising and everything, if you want to contribute to creating a more peaceful world and create more harmony and more love in the world, the most effective way you can do it is to create that within yourself as a unit to begin with. So for example, if you wanted to make a stand against racism, you need to have a look at your own self first and monitor, who do you judge? Doesn't even need to be from a racism level in terms of race or people you look down upon. It could be family members. It could be neighbors. It could be people, work colleagues that you judge on a daily basis and that you criticize and that you are unable to forgive, or you're gossiping about to friends, or you are always being, judgmental and everything towards. So, everything is energy. So every thought that you have that is not compassionate, that is judgmental towards another person, is contributing to the collective consciousness of judgment and unforgiveness and racism and disharmony. So that's one of the most effective things you can do, is start with yourself first. If you wanted to, if you have a look at some of the dishonesty in the politics and in the control that, how the world is controlled, you just have to, watch a few documentaries. Or even, I just saw a couple of days ago the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix. It's hard to have faith in the people in power when there's so much manipulation going on. But if you wanted to help fix that in the world, there's not much I personally can do about the people in control of the government and the judicial system in the States. But what I can do is I can look at the role that power and control and manipulation plays in my own life. So how you contribute to making improvements in the world as you work on making those improvements within your own personal self and your everyday life on a daily basis. Okay, so have a look at any power plays or power issues that you have going on. It could be with an ex-partner. It could be with a boss. It could be with, someone that's in your personal life, a family member or a child even, where there is a bit of manipulation, a bit of power and control issues going on. Other people, it's where you're not being so controlling and having power over another person, but you are being disempowered. How does that disempowerment issue play out in you and in your life? And it's about creating balance. It's about being aware of what's going on with all of these areas and working on that by self-awareness and watching how these themes play out in your own personal life and taking steps towards healing those and improving those and learning to be more open and loving and accepting and forgiving and less controlling and less judgmental. You see, that's how we make these changes, because that seems like a small thing, and how could that possibly contribute to what's going on in the world? But the big, massive events that happen in the world are also a manifestation of the collective consciousness that is still having thoughts of those key themes. So if you have enough people in the world being racist and judgmental about others, there's going to be a massive big uprising in the area of racism, for example. And so this is how it all works. So what's happening in the universal numbers and what's happening on the world stage is also happening in a mini way in our own individual selves, in our own little lives. So it's still all connected. And what's in the micro is in the macro, and what is within us is outside of us as well, and all of that kind of thing, with everything is connected and like attracts like and all of that. So that 4 year that we're in, it's a very, you've got to go one step forward, two steps back. It feels like changes are slow coming, and behind the scenes, though, things are, leaps and bounds are being made. They just may not seem so obvious. And we are in for the long haul. And that's what the 4 is saying. Slow and steady wins the race, and hard work is needed. It's going to have to look worse before it's going to start to look better. And our job is to be patient. Our job is to have faith and hope. And our job is to have, to have resilience and fortitude and perseverance and strength, and to not give up, and to be able to see a light at the end of the tunnel when it feels like there is no light to be seen at all. And if you find it really hard to be positive and have faith, turn off the news. Try to see the world through the eyes of love. Try, instead of focusing on what's wrong and how bad things are and how worse things seem to be getting in some people's, world, turn around and look at what's right. Focus on what is good. Focus on what you do have control over in your life. Focus on what is the beauty in the world. Even if it's something as simple as a beautiful conversation with a friend, or a smile from a stranger as you're walking down a street, or a blue sky, or a beautiful animal that a dog or a cat that you might see out on a walk out in nature, or a beautiful flower, or an insect, or a butterfly, or there are so many beautiful things to see in the world. And if you train yourself to recognize to see what is right, and what you can change and what you can work on, that is the world you want to choose to live in, okay? Because especially in this month of June, where the universal year number is a 4 that I've been talking about, well, June is what is called a universal month number 1. And that number 1 is a number of manifestation, because it's a number of creativity. and fresh energy. It's a number of energy and creative energy. And it's a very powerful manifestation number where you attract what you think about the most, where you attract what you believe to be will be. And so it's very important, especially in the month of June, that you train yourself to pay attention to what you're thinking about. Train yourself to catch yourself out when you're thinking about what's wrong and how bad things are, as opposed to what could be right and the good that may be around you as well. Especially those of you that need to, the June is all about new beginnings. It's about new openings and new pathways being presented to us. You're not going to recognize them. You're not going to see them and be able to utilize them if you're focused on everything that's wrong and how bad things are. All right? So also, this one universal month of June is about creating a new, fresh approach in how you interact in your everyday life, and a fresh pair of eyes to see the world through new eyes, to change your perceptions and your view of the world. First of all, you want to see what's real and what's true. So if you put out a prayer or an affirmation that says, "Dear universe," or "Dear God," or, angels, or whatever it is you believe in, whatever higher power in the divine you believe in, please show me the truth. I need to see what's real. I need to be able to recognize what is illusion that I'm buying into, and when I am caught up in the illusion of fear, and what is real and true. And if you put that prayer out, that declaration, that affirmation, that message out to the universal forces to be shown the truth and to be shown when you're buying into illusion, that will present itself to you, and that will help you to get down that rabbit hole and to be able to empower yourself based on wisdom, information, and knowledge that is real and true, not the bullshit, okay, that will take you down the road of fear. We don't want you in the space of fear, because that will disempower you, and it will take away your ability to attract opportunities and new pathways and new beginnings, and a sense of inner peace and balance and happiness. So also this month of June, even though it is a one universal month, June itself, as actual just June individually, is a number 6. And the number 6 is about the relationships in your life. Let's begin by community. If you want to make a difference in the world, you want to remember that you are part of a community, and you are part of a neighborhood, and you are part of a family. And one of the ways that can help create peace in the world is when you're peaceful with the people around you. When you're more harmonious and you work on improving the relationships in your family unit, or in your neighborhood, or in your work area, your work colleagues, anyone that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. So you do need to be more understanding. You do need to open your heart and be a little bit more forgiving, a bit more compassionate, to see things from other people's point of view. Because goodness knows, we all want that, and we all crave that, and we all need that when we're on the other end of the stick, when we're the ones that have messed up and need forgiveness, understanding, and compassion. So we've got to start to think of things from that perspective. And then that number 6 extends out to, it starts out with family and one-on-one relationships and partnerships and friendships and parent to child and child to parent and siblings and best friends. And then it extends out to more of the community, and then out to humanity as a whole. And every little action, every time you forgive someone, any time that you show compassion and understanding towards someone, no matter who they are or how close you are to them, that creates a wave of universal forgiveness, compassion, and understanding and love. So every time you forgive someone, you show kindness to someone, that goes out into the universe, and it manifests, and it starts a wave, and it will collect other energy of kindness, compassion, love, forgiveness, understanding, and it manifests. And what's happening is we're basically just seeing a manifestation on the world stage of all of the sort of negative shit coming to the surface, and all of the toxic sort of dishonesty and craziness that's been brewing beneath the surface, that kind of needs to come to the surface and be exposed, so that the truth can come out, and we can create that new balanced, more honest foundation that I was talking about, that the year 2020 number 4 is all about anyway. So things you need to be aware of in June in your little toolkit, and here's your little tips of how you can get through the month as best you can. First thing is, you need to be aware that this is a great time to start something new. All right, what it is, what do you need, and what do you want to put into action this month? You know, is there a new project you want to kick off? Is there a new phase of a relationship you want to take with someone in your life where you're like, no, out with the old, let's make way for the new? You know, last month, May, was a 9-month, which was a month of transformation and endings and completion and things coming to the surface, exposing old stagnant ways or whatever's holding you back or whatever's holding the world back. Those, you know, information coming to the surface so you know what to let go of, so you have an idea of what we don't want, so you know what you're moving away from. And then June is saying, look, now we've got some new openings here. What kind of new fresh approach do you want to take? What do you want to begin? What sort of new phase do you want to walk into? It's a month where you need to be courageous. You want to sort of be proactive. Don't just sit back and wait for things to come to you. You know, you do want to take action. But in terms of taking action, how you can take quality action where you work smart but not hard. If you want to utilize an opportunity but you want it to be the right opportunity, so therefore the action you take is a lot more effective and more accurate, because it's just how you get to that space of making the right move at the right time is by being as in alignment and in balance within your own personal energy, your own self, as possible. Because the more balanced and harmonious you are from within, then you will be shown clear and accurate divine guidance, divine inspiration, where you will intuitively be told or shown, make this move, go left, go right, ring that person, take that action. The guidance you get intuitively, or even in the physical world, on paper, will be a lot more effective and accurate the cleaner and clearer you are as a channel. And how you become a clean and accurate channel yourself, are balanced, is by working on your stuff. Whatever your issues are, whatever your challenges are, whatever your personality traits are that you know you need to work on, whatever your patterns of behavior are, working on whatever your limiting beliefs are that are holding you back, whatever it is that you think and believe that makes you be afraid, that makes you feel, negative, powerless, whatever it is, or addictions, issues, behavioral patterns that you know are holding you back. And the more that you work on these things, the more in alignment you start to become. The more your own energetic life force energy that runs through every cell of your being is more of a high vibration, the more work you do on yourself. So work on your stuff. Don't run away from your problems. Don't hide under the carpet and avoid areas within yourself you know you need to work on. The more you do the work, the clearer and more accurate the guidance will be that will help you to take the next logical step that you need to take moving forward in your life, getting closer to you, making dreams come true, getting you closer to finding solutions to problems, getting you one step closer to where you need to be in divine synchronicity with the world itself and harmony, in the right place at the right time, whether it's a new relationship you want, a new job. It doesn't matter what it is, but how you're going to be shown that way, and you're going to make big moves or good moves or accurate moves or moves that are going to have a more positive outcome or a more successful outcome, is based on the work you do within yourself, especially in this month of June. Now, this month of June is also about, it's number one, in this universal year number for June, the number one is about being an individual and walking your own path less traveled, not following the crowd, daring to follow your own instincts. Take your own hunch. Don't just believe everything you're told. Don't walk the same path everyone else is just because they're going that way and you think, oh, maybe I should too. If something doesn't feel right to you, follow that up. So the one is saying, don't just be part of the crowd. Stand on your own. Number one stands alone because it's courageous and it's an individual and it's unique. And it's innovative. And so that's what the month of June is also about. It's about making up your own mind. It's about using your discernment, your intuition. It's about being courageous, independent of others' opinions and independent of others' agendas. breaking free from control, recognizing manipulation and dishonesty, self-empowerment, having the courage to be different. Instead of trying to be a square peg in a round hole, just build your own square hole and do you. There's a saying, I love it. It's do you, or be you. Be you. The world will adjust. Love that. Be a black sheep. It's bloody awesome, coming from one of the blackest sheeps you'll ever meet. And this black sheep's from New Zealand. So, you know, be a black sheep. Black sheeps are cool. So guys, just so you know, don't be afraid when you see all the craziness that's going on in the world. It's like we have to go one step forward or two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. As crazy as it looks, there's a reason for it. The universe knows what it's doing. God knows what he's doing. As imperfect as everything is in the world right now, it is actually perfect, as crazy as that sounds. All right, if you're going to freak the hell out, you need to adopt a higher conscious awareness and understanding of the universe itself and how life works from a higher spiritual perspective. So find something, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's the Tao Te Ching, whether it's A Course in Miracles, whether it's listening to Deepak Chopra, whether it's following Dr. Joe Dispenza, it really doesn't matter, or Oprah. Find a higher learning, find higher wisdom that can inspire you and help you to have hope and faith. Rise above and see the world and what's going on around you from a higher perspective, so that you can digest it easier, so that you can make sense of things easier and you're not so afraid and freaking out. We are going into new territory. It's never happened before in this time with human race before, but we are going to get on the other side eventually, and things are going to be a lot better than they are now. And we have chosen to be alive at this particular time, at this specific moment in history of the human race. And we're witnesses to this. It's a very special time, and I know it doesn't look that way, but we are making headway. We are getting somewhere. And one day we're going to look back and go, hell, what a ride that was. I can't believe we're on the other side. Thank goodness. And then something else will come up a few years down the line, because like I always say, we didn't come here for a rest. We didn't come here to sit on our asses. We didn't come here for a picnic. We came here to do the work. No soul chooses to incarnate on planet Earth and have a rest. This is one of the most difficult places and dimensions to have a life, Earth, because we knock out so much karma and we get so much work and progress done to live a life here. One life on Earth is the equivalent of several lives in a more peaceful and more harmonious dimension. So, you know, we came to work. So get that back in your head. Get your head down, your bum up. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in life. And dare to trust that everything will be okay. And yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, regardless of whether you can see it now or not. So be positive. Hang in there. You got this. All right, now I'm going to probably go back to my old forecasts in July, where I break it down to each individual personal months for each individual person, and do the personal years and months. So I'm just going to see what happens in the world first and foremost, and then I'll decide as we get closer to July. So if you need me, I'm doing my 30-minute readings are still half price. It's only 75 New Zealand dollars for New Zealanders, or 75 US dollars for people who reside outside of New Zealand. For my 30-minute readings, they're normally $150. Okay, so hit me up if you need some coaching, if you need a reading, whatever, I'm here. And I wish you the very best. Stay happy, stay safe, stay positive, and I will be in touch around the 1st of July next month. God bless. Take care. Bye.